You just spent $800, $1,200, maybe even $2,000 on a brand new mini LED TV. You unbox it, plug it in, and think the hard part is over. But here is the truth most people find out too late. The TV you just bought is probably running at about 60% of what it can actually do. Not because it is a bad TV, because it is set up wrong. Mini LED is one of the most powerful display technologies available right now. Models like the Sony Bravia 9 and the TCL QM8K can produce picture quality that genuinely shocks people when they see it done right. But that same TV, set up incorrectly, looks like something you could have bought 3 years ago for half the price. Today, I am walking you through the most common mini LED setup mistakes and exactly how to fix every single one. Hit subscribe before we go further. Next week, I am covering the picture settings that professional calibrators use on the Sony Bravia 9, and I will tell you which ones you can copy at home for free. Drop a like and comment below. What mini LED TV do you own, and what does your current picture mode say? What mini LED actually is, and why setup matters. A standard LCD TV has a backlight behind the screen, a relatively small number of LED lights doing the job for the entire image. Mini LED packs thousands of much smaller LEDs into that same backlight and divides them into individual dimming zones, sometimes over 2,000 of them. Each zone can brighten or dim on its own, which is how Mini LED achieves those deep blacks and brilliant highlights that look so impressive in the best content. Those dimming zones do not manage themselves. The way you place the TV, the picture mode you choose, the HDMI settings you configure, and the way you set local dimming all determine whether those 2,000 zones are working the way they should. A badly set up Mini LED TV wastes its own hardware. A properly set up one looks like nothing else at its price point. Mistake 1: wrong placement and glare. The first and most common mistake is putting the TV in a spot where light works against it. Mini LED TVs are extremely bright, but brightness does not solve a glare problem, it competes with it. If your TV is facing a window, or a strong lamp is hitting the screen from the side, those reflections are physically washing out the black levels and contrast your TV is working to produce. You are spending money on local dimming performance that a reflection is erasing in real time. Position the TV so no direct light source is hitting the screen face on. Windows behind the viewing position are ideal. If the TV has to face a window, heavy curtains or blackout blinds make a significant difference. Some models, like the Samsung QN90F, have excellent anti-reflective coatings, but even those panels perform better when placement is smart. One more thing on placement: viewing angle. Most Mini LED TVs use VA-type panels, optimized for viewers directly in front. If some viewers regularly sit at a sharp angle, colors and contrast both shift noticeably. Factor that in before you mount anything permanently. Mistake 2: wrong picture mode. Walk into any electronics store and every TV on the wall is running in dynamic or vivid mode. Those modes crank brightness and saturation to grab attention in a brightly lit showroom. They are not designed for home viewing. They are designed for selling. When you bring that TV home and leave it in dynamic mode, you get blown out colors, crushed shadow detail, and aggressive motion processing that makes everything look like a cheap soap opera. The picture looks loud rather than accurate. Switch to movie, cinema, or filmmaker mode depending on your brand. On Sony Bravia models, including the Bravia 9 and the Bravia 7, Cinema Pro mode gives the most accurate color and tone mapping. On TCL models, including the QM8K, QM7K, and QM6K, movie or filmmaker mode is the right starting point. On Samsung, including the QN90F, movie mode is the most accurate baseline. These modes are often slightly dimmer than dynamic, but the brightness you lose is replaced by visible depth, accurate color, and natural shadow rendering. One specific setting to turn off immediately: motion smoothing. It goes by different names: motion flow on Sony, AutoMotion Plus on Samsung, and similar names on TCL. Unless you are watching sports and genuinely prefer the look, this setting makes films and scripted content look artificially smooth in a way most people find distracting once they notice it. Mistake 3. HDMI settings and HDR not configured correctly. This is the mistake that causes the most confusion, and it has the biggest impact on whether your TV is showing HDR content the way it was intended. HDR, which stands for High Dynamic Range, is what unlocks the full brightness potential and contrast range of a mini LED TV. HDR10, Dolby Vision, and HDR10 Plus are the three formats you will encounter most often. If your HDM1 port is not set to Enhanced or Ultra HD mode, the signal from your streaming device, console, or Blu-ray player is limited before it reaches the TV. You could have the best local dimming in the world and it will not matter because the source signal is capped. Go into your TV settings and find the HDM Wine Signal Format option, sometimes labeled Enhanced Format or Ultra HD Deep Color. Set the port for your main source to Enhanced. Then confirm your streaming device or console is outputting HDR with the correct format enabled. For gaming, models like the Sony Bravia 9, TCL QM8K, TCL QM7K, and Samsung QN90F all have HDMI 2.1 ports supporting 4K at 120 Hz, variable refresh rate, and auto low latency mode. Those features only activate if the enhanced HDM1 setting is on and your console is set up correctly. Many gamers are running at 4K 60 Hz without realizing it, leaving half the TV's gaming performance unused. Mistake 4. Local dimming set to off or too low. This is the one that hurts the most because local dimming is the entire reason Mini LED exists. Local dimming controls those individual zones in the backlight, brightening zones behind highlights, and dimming zones behind dark areas. When it works correctly, you get deep blacks right next to bright highlights without bleeding or blooming. When it is off or set too low, the whole backlight finds a compromise between the brightest and darkest parts of the image, which is exactly what a regular LCD TV does. Some TVs ship with local dimming set to low or even off by default. Check this immediately. On most models, medium or high is the right starting point. High gives deeper blacks and better contrast, but can occasionally produce faint zone transitions in slow, flat scenes. If that bothers you, medium is the right balance. The one case to dial it back is very bright content in a very dark room, where aggressive local dimming can produce a flickering effect as zones rapidly adjust. Medium is more comfortable in that situation. But for the vast majority of content in real living rooms, higher local dimming is always better. Mistake 5. Seating distance. The last mistake is the simplest and most overlooked: sitting at the wrong distance from the screen. For a 65-inch mini LED TV, the recommended viewing distance for 4K content is roughly 1 to 1.5 meters. Close enough to see the detail you paid for. Sitting at 3 or 4 meters means you are watching 4K detail you simply cannot see at that distance. You are paying for resolution that is invisible from your couch. The flip side is sitting too close. Sitting very close can make zone transitions more visible and highlight slight haloing around bright objects on dark backgrounds. The one area where Mini LED is still not quite at OLED levels. A comfortable distance keeps the picture seamless. The rule of thumb is 1.5 times the screen diagonal. For a 65-inch TV, that is about 8 feet. For a 75-inch TV, about 9.5 feet. If you are sitting across a large room from a 65-inch panel, consider whether a larger screen fits the space better. Here is the fast version before you go. Move the TV out of direct light. Switch out of dynamic mode and into movie, cinema, or filmmaker mode. Enable enhanced HDMI on every port you use for a main source, and make sure HDR is active on both the TV and the source device. set local dimming to medium or high, sit at the right distance for your screen size, every one of these things costs you nothing. And every one of them makes a visible difference in picture quality, sometimes a very large one. The best mini LED TVs available right now, including the Sony Bravia 9, TCL QM 8K, Hisense U 8QG, Samsung QN90F, and TCL QM 7K, are genuinely capable of producing an image that changes how you feel about your own living room. But that image starts with setup, not just the hardware inside the box. If this gave you at least one thing to go fix right now, leave a like. It helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe for next week's professional calibration breakdown and drop your TV model and current picture mode in the comments. Let's figure out together whether you are already getting the best out of what you own.